Hello, it's Leah. Welcome to my weekly podcast, Band T-Shirts with Leah. Now, I'm saying weekly because I feel like we're back to a normal-ish recording and posting schedule. Anyway, this is a podcast where I go through a t-shirt from my band t-shirt collection. I talk about the t-shirt, obviously. Also, when I saw them, any other general information about the band, and just some other general music information that's happening around the same time that's of interest to me, that I hope is of interest to you. Now, I'm based in Adelaide, so I record on Ghana land. Anyway, today's t-shirt is also not black. It's another ecru t-shirt like Stormzy, but this is a very different genre to Stormzy. You ready? I'm gonna do it. Look at me, like learning slightly from previous mistakes and not just smushing it straight up in my head where I can't see where it's going. Anyway, there it is. Kind of learning. It is Every Time I Die. That's what it says on there. So it is an ecru t-shirt. It has black full scap writing that says Every Time I Die. And then there is a very cool cobra, or cobra, depending on where you come from, with a tiger's head. It's great colours actually, which is why I picked this t-shirt, because it's like the writing is black, but the tiger cobra is like, it has black in it obviously, like for detail and lining, but it's yellow and pink. So there you go. There's nothing on the back of this, and there is no reference to a time or a place on this at all. It's just, this is a standard like band t-shirt, right, in the sense that it's like you could have bought this anywhere at any time, or in person or on the line. Now anyway, I'm going to put this back up here, my trusty Lego box, because obviously you're not going to be able to see it. Also, this t-shirt doesn't fit. It never fit me, even when I bought it. And then I got home and I was like, what the hell were you doing? But I think it's just because I like the pattern so much. I was like, yeah, that one, that would do. And then I didn't really look at it until it was too late. But don't worry, because Every Time I Die were like from Buffalo. And so I'm also wearing my Buffalo top. So I'm wearing my Bills top, which is also from Buffalo. Well, I didn't get this top in Buffalo, but the Bills are from Buffalo. Anyway, so I'm kind of connected. Anyway, I'm going to put it up. Anyway, you would have noticed from last week that I've changed my recording location, and that's because when I was putting the shirt up in the background, because it was on my other desk, it was too far away and I didn't have a way to bring it forward, and sometimes it would just be out of focus. And I figured out if I move to a different spot and, try different things, I can actually get the shirt close and in focus, and which is kind of the point, right? Because it's called Band T-Shirts with Leah, not like blurry band t-shirts with Leah. So again, I am learning. Anyway, so I saw Every Time I Die at Soundwave in 2009. So we've talked a little bit about Big Day Out before. Well, actually, we've talked a lot about Big Day Out before. It was a mixed genre festival and had everything from like full metal to dance and like pretty much everything in between. Whereas Soundwave was not as broad. It was more in the metal, like heavy rock. That was the genre that it catered to, which was fine, right? And so I did what any girl would do when they're off to a metal festival. I went with 3 of my girlfriends. Well, actually my sister and 2 of my girlfriends, because that's what girls do, right? They do girly things like go to metal festivals all together. Anyway, so we did. We went to Soundwave. Now, 2009 is the year that Alice in Chains and 9 Inch Nails were among the headliners, which is really why I went. I'd always wanted to see 9 Inch Nails. Obviously, I never got to saw them play with Lane, but I did get to see them tour with William, and I wanted to see 9 Inch Nails, of course. But when you're at a festival, you do festival things, like randomly walk around and see what else is happening. Who else is there? Sometimes they're people you know, sometimes they're not. And this was an instance where it was someone I did not know. This was also the year that I tattooed my foot in the week of Soundwave. I think I talked about this in the episode with Eva. Yeah, which was so dumb, right? Obviously, it's a fresh tattoo. I can't get it in the sun and I can't get any shit on it. So yeah, this was the year that I had to wear a loose sock and a ballet flat to protect the fresh tattoo on my foot. Let's get to this before I meandered way too far away. So anyway, it's earlier in the day earlier-ish, right? And we're seeing who is it that we want to see. One of the people that I'm with, she wants to go see Poison the Well, and I'm like, cool, I'll go do that. I didn't have any plans, I'll just do whatever, right? We go, watch, good set. Anyway, not long after them, Every Time I Die come out. We're like, let's just give them a chance, because none of us know who they are, right? We've never seen them before, never heard of them before. It's like, you know what, let's just give them a chance and see how it goes. Anyway, look, obviously it went fine because I got the t-shirt right. It wasn't like I just stood there and went, gross, and left. No, it was good. It was a very good set, especially when you consider we did not know any of their songs at all, right? So I can't tell you what the set list was like. I mean, I'll include it below. But I can tell you right now that then I wouldn't have known what they were playing at all because I was not familiar with them at all. But I wanted to do this t-shirt because I think it speaks to the power of a good festival set, right? When you go to a festival as a festival goer and you see someone and you think, you know what, this is the type of music that I like. Or in this case, not really the type of music that I listen to a lot, but I do like. But if you put on a good show, right, if you're entertaining, you put on a good show, you interact with your audience, you're engaging, whatever, like people will get on board, right? Because you have the opportunity to get new people on board. Plus your fans who are already there, they're like pumping it up, providing great great atmosphere and vibes as well. And so new people, they can get swept up in everything, right? Which is obviously what happened. Me, got swept up in everything. Now, like I said, I can't tell you anything about the set from the time in terms of I was like, oh yes, great, they're playing this song that I really enjoy, because I didn't know any songs. But I can tell you from my Facebook album that they played from 4:25 to 5 o'clock. So again, like a 35-minute set, not bad, right? It's a good opportunity to come out very high energy. And they did. So Keith Buckley, the singer, has, or had, I don't know if he still does, the silkiest hair I've ever seen on a person. And it was that type of, that, like, when people do that and the hair just goes whoosh, 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 whoosh. Anyway, that's what it did. First of all, absolutely mesmerising. And the three of us that were there watching him were like, what's going on with his hair? Like, I don't know, but I can't stop looking at it. Anyway, that was one. Now, Jordan Buckley, his brother, is the lead guitarist, and also, right, incredible guitarist, like very, very good. And, very engaging. He was actually on the other side of the stage to us. So if we were on the right side, he was on the left side. So we didn't see him as well, but we could still see him because it wasn't like we could get closer or whatever. Anyway, he's very good guitarist, and a very good performer. And look, I'm a different person when I see live music. I've learned this about myself. There are things that I find acceptable in a live music environment that I wouldn't find acceptable in other places. And one of those things is when people behave in a particular way that in the street I might be like, ugh, gross, don't do that. But on stage I'm like, yes, more of that. Did you see that? Wasn't that so great? And one of those things was Jordan spitting in the air and catching it in his mouth. And I was like, ha ha ha, isn't that so funny? I can tell you right now, if I saw a dude standing next to me do that, that would absolutely not be my reaction. I've said this to my sister and she told me that you shouldn't tell other people this, but I just want to know if other people feel the same way. If you want to recruit me into a cult, live music is absolutely where you get me, right? I'll get on board. I do everything I'm told. Stand up, I stand up. Clap, I clap. Like jump, I jump. I do exactly what I'm told. So if it comes to the end of the show, you're like, now get on the bus. The cult is leaving. I'll be like, well, come on the bus. I'm leaving with the cult. But I don't think that's just me. I don't think I'm the only person that gets swept up in things and acts in a slightly different way from when they normally would when they're more aware of their mind and critical thinking. I don't think it's just me, but I would like to know if it is just me. Please tell me. Back in the day, the Big Day Out and Soundwave used to have signing tents. Big Day Out did it for, I don't know, a few of the earlier years, and then they kind of phased it out, just stopped doing it completely. But Soundwave was still doing it after Big Day Out had stopped, and then they also stopped doing it. And I don't know if other places still do this. I don't know if it was like a thing that happened at a particular time but it stopped, or if other places still do it. I don't know. Anyway, after we see Every Time I Die go off, do some other things, happen to be walking past the signing tent, see that they are one of the bands that's like signing stuff, and we go, excellent, let's go in there and also see these people up close and personal. Now, I'll just tell you this, that was not our best move, because we all suffer from an inability to focus when hot people talk to us. So let's keep that in mind when we tell this story. Anyway, we go in, get in the line. It's not very long. Get to the front, get some random things each of us signed. My sister gives them something, I don't even know what it was, and she just says, like, just blurts it out like this. This is all I've got, right? And just throws it at them. And they're like, oh, all right. Anyway, our other friend, he has on a t-shirt that's like, I don't know, it had like a city on it, I reckon, right? Like, it might have been, like, look, California, I don't know what it was. Anyway, one of the guys says something to her about the shirt. She can't hear him, right? Well, she can't focus on what he's saying. He says it, she's like, huh? He says it again. She's like, huh? He points, right, and says it, because he's like, obviously, using his words. And she still doesn't get it, and she's holding a bottle of Gatorade, and she just yells back at him, it's Gatorade, right? And which we all laugh at, because we're all very mature and friends. Now, what I'll say, this was 2009, so since 2009, we still say randomly to her, it's Gatorade, and laugh about it, because it's like, mate, what are you doing? Anyway, it's not just her, obviously. I can't do the things either. Anyway, we get our stuff signed, we move along, take a couple of photos, and then we all get a photo with Andy Williams. Now, he is the other guitarist, the rhythm guitarist, and he is the one who's actually playing on our side. He's really lovely, and like I said, we all get a photo with him, and we're all like pretty stoked. Look at our photo with Andy. Anyway, then we go off on our merry way. I think after that is when I go and buy the t-shirt, and then I would have gone off to go see Alice in Chains. So, yeah, that was the day that we had. And look, it was a great day, right? Like, I know I've said before that sometimes Soundwave sound wasn't great, and that's because it wasn't. But because of the way that their stage was facing kind of outwards, it was a bit kind of on the, like, if the festival ground was like this, for example, they would have been like here but facing out, so they didn't have all of that other noise, which sometimes happens when you would stand in places and you would get noise from everywhere, and it wasn't always great, right? The main stage was usually very good. It would want to be, it's where the headliners were, and also it's where the energy of like most of the like resourcing and everything goes, but they had good sound for both Poison the Well and Every Time I Die, so it was fine, right? Anyway, so it was a very good day. Now, after this, now keep in mind, I bought this t-shirt, right? I also go and buy an album, and I buy The Big Dirty from a record shop, which, by the way, I think I might have found a music shop in Adelaide that I'm going to start going to. I went to it a little bit, but I was in a rush, so I didn't get to have a good look around. But if I go, I'm going to go back, but when I go back, have a look around, if I feel like it's a good fit, I'll let you know where it is and what it was like. And then if you are also in Adelaide thinking, I'd like to visit a physical music shop and do physical music shop things, we'll have somewhere to go. Also, I follow the band on Insta, and I also followed Jordan, right? For some reason, when I was switching between profiles or something, I think I unfollowed him, but now I'm following him again, because he's also a really good artist, right? Like a visual artist. Now, his style might not be to everyone's taste, which actually is kind of a dumb point to make, because all art is subjective in that sense, right? I would say objectively he's talented. Subjectively, you might not like what he does, but he's very good at how he does it. Anyway, he used to do like drum heads and it's like from their gigs and stuff, and then sell them. He also used to do like their tour posters, all that sort of stuff. And it was good to see, right? Because he would also include his process, like how he was working on a thing, like, you know, like how it started, how he would draw it in this way, then he would move it to here, when it would get into like when he would do it like when he would do it on paper with a pen, and then he would transfer it, and then he would colour it in online, on, you know how they do that, the art people, not the paper, obviously I can't do that sort of thing. Anyway, I always found those videos very enjoyable because I'm not artistically talented, but I enjoy the process of watching other people do things. Also, I like watching people do the thing that they're good at because it's good, right? Watching somebody do something they're good at is relaxing, I think. Anyway, so I was following Kim, and then I think between switching profiles and everything, at some point I had stopped following Kim. So came as actually a bit of a surprise a couple of years ago when I found out that they'd broken up. And they'd broken up, I think, in pretty dramatic circumstances now, which I'm not going to go into because everything that I read online at the time was speculative, right? It was a fallout between Keith and the rest of the band. How that happened, what degree that happened to, what, you know, I don't know anything like that, right? I don't know if they're reconciled. I don't know if they were estranged. I don't know any of that. And like, to be honest, I feel like it's not really any of my business because it's like family business, right? Anyway, they broke up. So, yeah, there was no, obviously, then there's no music. But when I was doing a bit of like gathering my thoughts, thinking about this t-shirt and this episode, I was looking back through Jordan's page just to get, you know, see what's happening, and I did notice that he is in another band now. So I was like, oh, I might just have a little listen to this. I think they've been together for a bit over a year. I'm not really sure about the timeline, but anyway, he's in a new band, and they're called Better Lovers. And I was listening to them when I went for a walk yesterday, like just streaming, you know, like on just on a random loop of songs. It was pretty good. I thought it was decent. Right now, again, there's a type of music I don't listen to a lot, but when I do listen to it, well, I was going to say when I do listen to it, I like it. But no, obviously, I only listen to the versions of it that I like because it is a little bit heavier. I usually enjoy singing that's a bit more kind of melodic type of. I don't really always enjoy the more screamo type. That's not always what I like, but I still feel like there's definitely, for me anyway, a time and a place when I enjoy that. And something like that, you know, when you're exercising, it's good, right? Because it's fast, like the music is fast, and the singing is like, it's pumped, right? It's like high energy, pumped, like fierce. It's good. I think in that context for me, I like that. Yeah, so like I said, I did buy that album, The Big Dirty, and like the first song of that album, No Son of Mine, has this line in it that's like, shoot that dog if we can't afford to feed, right? And I say that a couple of times, but look, that's not always the type of song that people want to hear when they get into your car. And generally speaking, I am from the Winchester School of Driving, right, which is the driver picks the music, the passenger shuts his K-hole. So I won't normally change what I'm listening to, but sometimes I will. And sometimes I did change this album when some people got in the car, but also sometimes I did not, because I was like, well, you're in here now, you know what to expect. You get what you get, right? And you get what you get and you don't get upset. Anyway, it's still a good song. It's just, I know at least one time when that line came up, I got one of these looks. Like, yeah, I know, but like, it's a song, right? Anyway, I think that my favourite song off that album though is Werewolf. I think it has a really good contrast in the vocals throughout the song. Also, I think the guitar is solid, very, very solid. So, a band I'd like to see. Now, I don't think this is too big of a stretch, right? We're talking about a band, had two brothers in it, they broke up, now they don't know if they're in a feud or not. They don't seem to be as vocal in their ongoing feud as the band I'm going to talk about now, which is Oasis. I'd love to see Oasis. And I think like everybody knows that Liam and Noel have been in an ongoing feud for I don't know how many years. I mean, they were in a feud when they were in the band together, and they're still in one now. They're still like just take little pot shots at each other, you know, whenever they get the chance to. In 2019, I watched Liam's doco As It Was, which is a really great documentary. It talks kind of like about his, I don't want to say comeback, that's not the right word, but anyway, about his, you know, journey back into like touring and everything like that. And it's a really good documentary, right? And you, at the end of it, you really like, you're rooting for Liam, like you want things to work out, like, you know, you want it to be successful. And when you see him play those shows and the crowd is so energetic, they're so into it, right? They're really having such a great time. Like, man, I wish I was there doing this, having such a great time. Anyway, he did announce though that he was going to come to Australia to do a show. It might have even been at the end of 2019, but it was one of those stupid winery shows, right? Like where you have to sit on the grass. And they're like, but don't worry because you can pre-order a cheese platter and drink wine while I sit on the grass watching the show. Now, the contrast between doing that and seeing the reaction to his live performances overseas, which included heaps of young people, by the way, like very young people, having a great time, like totally buying into this music, what he's doing, everything like that. It's like, what? This is so good, right? Why the fuck would I want to now go and sit at a winery and pre-order a cheese? Why do I want it? First of all, what do I want a cheese plate for? I'm at a gig. What do I want a cheese plate for? Secondly, Australia in December is flipping hot. What do I want a warm cheese plate and red wine sitting on the grass? Come on now. There are probably some artists that I think suit that type of arrangement. I don't think he is. I think it's kind of silly, and I think in the end that's why we didn't go, because we looked at it, we're like, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying all that money so I can sit on the grass and watch a show where you should be standing up, dancing around, enjoying yourself. Anyway, so I didn't go to that show. Then in, was it 21? Yes, it was. In 2021, I watched the Nebworth documentary, which is about the Oasis show that was played at Nebworth, and how massive that was. Now, again, this is another documentary that I think is worth watching, a music documentary, and I don't think you need to necessarily be an Oasis fan, because even though they play like little bits of songs or whatever, it's not a concert. They're not playing the whole concert, right? That is available. You can buy that to watch. But this is really about the planning, the lead up, the logistics, the feeling, right? Because I think sometimes even when you forget exactly what was played at a song, and what you remember is how you felt. How how you felt a thing, how you connected with it, how you connected with the people around you. That's the thing that you remember, not always. And then they played this and this and this and this. I mean, I know some people do that, but I think over time, sometimes those things fade, but how you felt, that doesn't fade. And so it's all of these things as well, but because it's like, it's set in a different time. You had to get physical tickets, right? Or you could order them online. But there's a finite amount to go around, even though it is at this huge outdoor space, right? But so people are lining up, like desperate to get tickets to this. They're also at home ringing up, because there's no online ordering, right? Let's just keep that in mind. And they're at home, like trying to ring up and hoping that you get through to a person, like a call center to take your order. Now, it's so funny watching, because all these young people who would have been about the same age I was at the time, and I would have had to be one of the people like lining up in the street with money, because I didn't have a credit card. Like, I don't mean like I didn't have a credit card till I was 18. Like, I didn't have a credit card for ages. And I remember sometimes I would go out with my friends and we were still like, we were in our early 20s, I reckon. Still didn't have a credit card. We'd use our parents' credit card if we wanted to buy something, like tickets or something on the phone. We had to use our parents' credit cards and then pay them, because we didn't have them. And if we were going to a hotel, it's like, well, how are we supposed to secure a hotel? We don't have a credit card. And it's so funny now, because like, I mean, it feels like everyone's got a credit card and they get them so early. But anyway, we didn't have them. So I would have been one of those kids lining up in the street, like just hoping that they still had some left when it was my turn at the front of the line. Anyway, so you watch this and it's like, it's an incredible time, right? They play 2 nights. So, you know, so many people roll through it. And I just think it was just such a great idea, right? Anyway, I think I should get a copy of that and I should watch it because I'm pretty sure that I will love it. Anyway, on the back of that, Liam announces a Nebworth show, right? Now, he does this though in a way that kind of teases what's happening. But if you buy his album, you will get a priority code. If you pre-order his album, you get a priority code to get tickets. So hey, guess what? That's exactly what I did, right? This is the last CD I bought, and I reckon I bought it when... Did I buy it in 22? Yes, it might have been the end of 21. With the hope that I would be able to get the code and pre-order and book a ticket to go to Nebworth. Now, I talked about this before, how I love CDs, right? I love the physicalness of them. I like the books. I like to read the lyrics. I like all of those things. And because I'm still working at home now, but I was working at home a little bit more then. I just put the CD on my stereo. And, but yeah, I got a stereo when I realised I was working from home. I got a stereo for my office so I could listen to CDs. Anyway, this one is reasonably simple, but it does have like a crowd shot. And then the lyrics, very tiny lyrics. Very tiny. Anyway, so I do this, the hope that I can get tickets to his Nebworth show, which I do get. The problem is that it's like in the middle of 2022. Now, Australia at this point, because of the thing that happened when, you know, the great stay home, Australia is not fully open at this stage. It's way more open than it was. I think people still have to isolate when they get home, but they don't have to isolate in hotels anymore. But there's still an element of uncertainty. Flights are not as frequent still. They're very, very expensive. And yeah, it's also just linked to that uncertainty, right? So I get my tickets, talk to one of my friends. I'm like, hey, we should totally go to this. We're like, yes, we agree. Talk to my friend who lives in England. I'm like, hey, gonna go to Nebworth, see Liam. Do you want to come? She's like, yes, I want to come. Anyway, get our tickets. Gets a bit closer. Think it's just not. It just hasn't gotten as certain around travel as I would like it to be, and also the cost is still like ridiculous. So I don't get to go. Try to sell my tickets online, doesn't work. Because I book my tickets very early, get that, what turns out to be the first show. Because he books it, it sells out so quickly, the first one, but he books the second night. Now, it's a little bit harder then to sell the tickets because now there's 2 nights, right? I think it's like 80 or 90,000 people, right? So that's a tremendous amount of people to be at a venue, right? Anyway, we did try to go, did book accommodation not too far from there. Yeah, like I said, did book the tickets, did look into transport to and from the show, how that might work. But the actual getting to England was not going to be super easy. And so I didn't get to go. And yeah, I'm still sad about that, to be honest. I try not to think about it too much because, I don't know, it just feels like, I don't know. Look, when he first announced it, I think there were some people that were like, he's delusional. He's not Oasis. There's no way he's going to sell this out. And, which first of all, mean. Secondly, I mean, he sells out, right? And he sells out super quick. And I don't know if the second night it sells out, but it sells a significant amount of tickets, right? There's a lot of people going to this. A lot of people rooting for Liam, you know, like they want to see it. They want to have a good time. They want to go and see him now. But some of them as well, it's like, I saw things of people that were taking their kids, they couldn't wait to go to share this experience with them. But it also was also just young people not gone with their parents, just gone because they wanted to go. Anyway, I didn't go. And I've never seen Oasis. And I routinely hear rumours, probably like everyone else does, about how Oasis might be reuniting and they might be touring and they might be doing like, but I don't know. It just feels like it feels like people are just trying to speak it into existence, right? Like if we say it enough times, if we look in the mirror and say 3 times, Oasis, Oasis, Oasis. But I don't know. I did hear again next year, but I don't know. I don't know. I hope they do one day though, because there's something. I don't know. There's just something about that time and music coming out of the UK in general, not just England, but in the UK in general, that was just very, very regionally specific, right? But this had a really good vibe, really good musicianship, really good lyrics. Like it was a very great time, and I'd like to see Oasis, you know, Liam, Noel, like guys, just sort it out, please. So I did kind of touch on this a little bit, and I do like to talk about new music that I've been listening to. Now, these ones, well, this one came out last year, so it's definitely not new. So that's the Better Lovers, God Made Me an Animal. But I've also been liking The Flowering, which is a song that came out this year, but still a few months ago. So not like super recent, but not old, only maybe a few months ago. So I've been listening to those and I have been enjoying it. You might enjoy it too. All this talk about Buckley's made me think of Jeff Buckley. Honestly, I don't really need an excuse to think about Jeff Buckley. But no, I saw a reel earlier today talking about Grace and how it's been 30 years since that album came out. So it came out around like mid-August in 1994, which is it's a crazy thing to think. But the reel was just showing like all of these different artists who you know, just talking about the impact of Grace and Jeff, and really like this, what a great musician he was and how he was so talented and how he could have really done anything. And I just think, yeah, it's worth touching on that again. It's this 30th anniversary. And sometimes when I used to hear things like that and think, oh my God, 30 years, that's outrageous. And in a sense it is outrageous, but also I'm trying to put a more positive spin on it than like really what it means though is that we've been able to listen to Grace for 30 years, right? Well, not everyone's over 30, but if you are over 30, or you've been able, or if you're under 30, you've been able to listen to it your whole life. But if you're over 30, you've been able to listen to it for like 30 years, which is a really incredible gift and a really amazing legacy that Jeff has given us. So 30th anniversary of Grace, incredible. Last week was Showdown week and it was Port's home game. So because they were the hosting, they get to do the game day experience and everything like that. So they had a band playing called West Everton. And now I have been thinking to myself that I need to go see a bit more live local music. I'm going to keep an eye on when they're touring, because when I was watching I thought this is fun, I like this. I'm going to keep a little eye out to see when they might be touring again, or not touring, when they might be doing shows. Like they're here, they're not touring around, they're here. So when they might be having some shows. But if you know any local bands that have upcoming shows, please let me know, because I would be very interested to go and see them. Thank you for joining me today. I know that this is another slight genre shift, but I've said this before, right? I think it's boring to only like one type of thing. I think it's more fun and way more interesting to like multiple types of things. So if you have enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, or comment. I'm going to get better at doing that, even though it feels weird. I am going to get better at doing that. Also, I thought I'd leave this up here so you can see what my mannequin is. It's a Star Wars Lego set. Of course, why wouldn't it be? Thank you for joining me. This is a Pan t-shirt. This is Leah, and this is goodbye. Bye.